I think you mentioned that earlier of like, how do you prepare for these conversations and thinking about how someone's going to respond so that you could not automatically, but practice changing your language so it doesn't come off like an attack if someone's already prone to being defensive.
Totally. And you have to, as much as you prepare for how someone might respond, you have to be prepared that they may not respond in that way, which would be beautiful, but you have to be ready for it and in your own mindset of what I'll say in that case.
Yeah. And I think just to land on one other thing, I think in that scenario, because a lot of people will say someone is prone to being defensive, or I'm just trying to avoid a situation where someone's defensive because it's not helpful. Like their barriers aren't down. They're not going to be in a place of learning if their wall goes up in a defensive manner. What do you think is the best tip to get someone to lower their guard and actually talk about what's happening, or be in the place where they can have a growth mindset and learn and be coached and be open to having help?
The best, I don't know, but I think a couple of the things are just, again, approaching someone with as seriously, like, and I know this is going to sound totally cheeseball, but like as seriously, as loving as you can, of like, I want to see you be successful. We want you to stay here. We love you as a provider. Your patients love you, but you're hard to work with in this way, but you don't deliver in these things. And ultimately that's a deal breaker. So trying to get into it from that place, and letting people, I'm always surprised at how often we have conversations with people and they just start to share, and like, they may never say it, but they say, well, people are worried about losing their jobs, or people are thinking that they're, the jobs are going to be affected. After like the fourth time, I'm like, okay, so it's you're worried about losing your job. Like you haven't been able to say it directly, but you're kind of beating around the bush, and I'm picking up on it. So what can we do to help you feel more secure about your job? Because the only way you might lose your job is if you don't do any of the things we're just now talking about, It's really listening, I think, and picking up on that stuff and listening and being empathetic, but like you keep saying, going back to given that that's your reality, which is that Cy Wakeman like podcast race, given that that's your reality, what are you going to do to get there?
Yeah, absolutely.